One of the big things that we've been working on and researching, this is a constantly evolving ecosystem, cryptocurrency, right? So to be efficient, to be better adapted to rising electrical costs in systems, Mark and I have been hitting the books the past couple of days and weeks, trying to get some more power and other things, on the ground for our customers and bigger customers that we have lined up. One of the things is a B.E.S.S system, B.E.S.S. A lot of bigger farms are doing this, and not a lot of people are talking about it. So I thought we'd bring it up, or Mark wanted to bring it up in this live stream. Let me share my screen again for everybody. Let's see if I can do this. There we go. So this is just an example of a B.E.S.S container opened up. It's ideally a giant battery cell. And what companies are doing is they're using these large battery cells to what's called peak shave to get down to these lower rates. A lot of places across the U.S. Have off-peak and on-peak rates. And for example, Virginia has a 63% off-peak rate. So for 63% of the week, the rate is lower. But if you are continually running that rate or that consumption throughout the day, they're going to jack your rate up and you're going to be paying the higher rate, even though it's being used less often. So a lot of companies are peak shaving and storing power, charging batteries at night and running machines off of them during the day. This is just one company that we've been kind of digging into. There are a couple other ones. Tesla's has systems. There are systems all over the place for these batteries. It's just finding the right scenario to get things going and running properly. The tricky thing is to run, say, a 5 megawatt system, you'd have to have close to 11 megawatts worth of batteries stored up. It's cleaner power because you're scrubbing the power going through the batteries, but they're expensive. It's depending on who you get them from. We've seen quotes for $1 million a megawatt or $1 million a container, down to $500,000 a container. So they're not cheap units.
No, they're not. And so we're in the search of them. We thought, bringing it up, showing you guys what they are, maybe someone watching the live stream after the fact, might help point us in a direction. We are working with our suppliers trying to obtain this kind of container. But again, we're getting quotes, $500,000, $1 million, and it just seems unreasonable.
Yeah, the battery technology, although advances have been made, haven't really caught up to the demand of what's out there. I mean, we're looking at alternative sources outside of a B.E.S.S system. Converting an older diesel generator to on biodiesel or natural gas or black diesel. There's all sorts of alternatives out there that we're looking at, so we can, get our hands on some of that off-peak rate. And it's a substantial. I mean, I encourage you guys to do your research in your local areas and ask your power companies what your off-peak rate is, because a lot of times it's a good chunk of change difference. Maybe a couple cents, 3-4 cents in some places. So it's definitely something to look into if you guys are serious about mining and you're trying to amp up your farm. It's definitely something that we're trying to implement and figure out. The way it works here in Virginia, where our main farm is, they have a credit for your kilowatt hours. So, for example, if we had a solar system, it is a 1-to-1 credit system. If we don't use everything the solar panels are pulling, it gets put back on the grid, and we can use the grid as a battery system. And when we need to pull power, it's a 1-to-1. So we're not charged for the power that we've put back to the grid. It's just given back to us on a credit. So there are systems and there are a lot of plans and stuff like that across the country. You just got to reach out to some of your local power companies and really push them hard to give you the answer, because they don't like to give this stuff up.
No.
We didn't get this information until we finally got a representative from the power company, because we were talking about, you know, adding substations and dropping major transformers on properties, that we finally were able to get some decent answers.